Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Aussie Lawn. In today's episode we're going to go down a different path. We're going to do a little bit of gardening today. I'm going to try and put a little bit of everything in my channel, so everything from the maintenance, the turf and occasional gardening, just to give you an all-round view of just how I sort of do things, and yeah, you might like to follow along. I'll show you what I've got happening today. So during the recent yard tour I did, I pointed out that I was actually going to redo this garden because I wasn't 100% happy with it, and it was a case of I'll get to that, but I've decided autumn is a really great time to do a lot of planting. The ground's warm, the soil temperature is still nice and warm, the days are calmer, and it's just a bit easier to work the garden. It's a nice time of year to be outside. So what's going to happen is I'm going to clear out a lot of this stuff here. We're going to leave these here. These are crepe myrtles. 1, 2 and 3. They're the Indian summer range for the Narches, so they're the white flowering variety. A little bit slow to start, but I think when I clean out a lot of the stuff that was in here, a lot of it's already gone, but so we're going to weed this out today. This rosemary, this herb, I'll probably relocate it. I'll probably just sacrifice the curry bush. We're going to go, basically it's going to be a very simple bed. We're going to keep the Buxus hedge at the back there. We're going to have just a mass planting of the Gardenia Florida variety all the way along. So we're going to save a few bits and pieces out of here. So we've got these little Caprias, I think they're called tiny mice or something like that, with their little face on them. So going to move some of those. You can dig those out. They've just self-sown from what was in there before. You've got these, some people call them butterfly bushes, that were all through here as well. And you can see they seed like weeds. That's all of those there that they've seeded, so they can all get torn out. Going to leave the cycads. It's going to make this whole area basically dedicated to the cycad, so clear away this. Might put some little ground cover just beneath him, but other than that, just keep it simple. Have a nice hedge of those gardenias with the perfume, and we'll carry the same theme along here across the other side. A little bit more work to do on this side. Go around this olive tree. So this poor verbena is looking a bit tired, so it'll come out. I really like this. It's really quite nice, but it really only flowers once a year. This is the best it looks this time of year. So it's yeah, I might just sort of cut it right back and divide up some clumps and move it around the yard elsewhere. But this other salvia here grows like weed, so it can just go out, and it'll just be a very simple, very clean garden. So that's how. Righto, so that's one side down. We've got the other side to go. Some of you might have noticed I didn't bother saving any of those little Capria tiny mice plants. Look, just got the mojo on and thought, bugger it, it can all go. I don't really have anywhere that I want to put them right now. And hey, more might pop up out of the seed, so there's always that opportunity later on. Righto, so that last plant that we dug out, I'm just going to actually divide that into clumps now. I'm going to put it into pots, and in springtime I'm going to actually replant it out in the yard, probably put it in the front somewhere. There's a little bit of work to do there. It's a Mexican sage bush from the salvia family, and its actual, I guess, variety or version, can't think of the right term right now, is the Santa Barbara. And it puts on quite a good show this time of year. The frost will knock it around a bit, but yeah, I'm going to divide it up into some big clumps and just put it in some pots and forget about it till springtime. So because this is only a temporary measure, we don't have to get too carried away planting. They're only going to be in these pots for a little bit of time, and these are fairly hardy sort of a thing. So we're just going to basically drop it in the pot and fill with a little bit of soil. Because as I said, we're not leaving them here indefinitely. It's just basically to keep them alive until we retransplant them back into a garden. So that's all we're going to do. It's by no means perfect, but yeah, we'll just give that a little, always give it a drink in, and put it in somewhere shady. Don't leave it out in the hot sun, just put it in a shady sort of filtered sun position, probably be best. And if you're in a frosty area, keep it out of the frost. So yeah, that's all we got to do. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since I divided up those clumps of salvias, and today it's time to put these new gardenias into the garden here. I've ended up going with rather established plants just for the instant effect. You're going to pay a little bit more for that, but yeah, I sort of got a little bit impatient. I thought, no, I'm just going to get the bigger ones and get it happening and make it look like it's been there a bit longer than it has. So let's have a look at those plants, and I'll teach you guys the correct method for planting. A lot of people can get that wrong, so I'll show you how I go about doing that. Okay, so these are the plants that we're putting in today. These are the Gardenia florida, and the Florida part comes from being referred to as the florist's choice, or the florist gardenia, basically because it has the best flowers and it's quite popular in the florist scene. These ones here, these are actually opening up today. These were still, that one's not, but this one here wasn't open yesterday, so they're starting to open up today, which is kind of cool. As I said, I've gone with reasonably established plants here. These are 30 centimetre pots, or 12 inches in the imperial system. So looking forward to get those in the ground. But I cannot stress enough the importance of preparation when you're planting. So preparation is really the key. Now, the saying is always dig a $10 hole for a $2 plant. And I guess what that really means is spend the time, prepare your hole, your planting, because what you do in here is going to dictate how well the new plants adapt to their new position. So take the time, spend more time preparing your ground than getting the ideal plant. You can get the world's best plant at the nursery and plant it in a really poor situation or a situation that you haven't prepared the ground really well, and that plant will do absolutely nothing but disappoint or probably even die. So definitely spend the time, prepare your ground properly. I've already dug all the holes this morning just to save a bit of time, because there's not much point you watching me dig 14 holes, but we will I will plant the first one with you guys and show you the exact correct method to planting, because it's something a lot of people do get wrong. So yeah, we'll look at that. So getting your plant out of the pot, turn him on his head, give him a tap, a bit of a shake. In this case, this one's not too root bound, so we don't have to worry about doing much there. So we'll turn him over, we just pop him in the ground. Okay, so what we're looking for here, to know that if you've got the plant at the right depth, you got to make sure that the area that you're planting around is pretty much the same height as the top of the soil level was in the pot. So it can be probably half a centimetre or so higher, but not lower. You don't want to see the plant sitting above the ground around it, because that's just not the right way to do things. Now just pack around it all the way. This soil is obviously easier to work with than normal yard soil, but that's also because I've imported all of this when I did this garden originally, as it was a retaining wall garden. Okay, so as you can see now, everything sort of lines up. So you can't see the root ball of the plant sitting up higher or lower. It's all pretty much the same height as its surrounding garden. So just give it a little bit of a rake around with your hands, or and that's it. That's all there is. So it's just basically a matter of getting all your levels right, not too deep, not too shallow. Spend time digging your hole correctly, and the plants will grow, and you'll have a really nice, healthy, happy garden. Okay, well, that didn't really take all that long. As I said, I marked out with the spacing. I had those planted a metre apart. So first of all, I just marked them out in the ground. I just put a little stake in the ground at each metre, spaced them out accordingly, and I dug all the holes first. I like doing it that way because you can spend time, dig all the holes, and then when you come back to plant, as you saw, bang, 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 they go in really easily, really well. Probably took me about 20 minutes to plant them, and probably about 15-20 minutes to dig those holes. Obviously, I'm a little bit lucky here because that soil is the imported landscaping sort of mix. So digging that was not really a challenge, and being that lighter, fluffier sort of sandy soil, that's really what these gardenias will like. You noticed there in the video that what I did was also I sprayed out some Hydrolink Advanced, the soil wetting agent, because it was a little bit hydrophobic in places. So yeah, I've put some Osmocote on there as well, some slow release fertilizer, but in the coming episodes, probably next week, I'm going to create a mulch that I've heard a lot about, and it's a mixture of cow manure, blood and bone, dolomite, potash. I think that's about it. I'll have to check. And it's really great for sort of these hungrier plants. So gardenias are like a bit of food. Azaleas, camellias, and if you've got magnolias that won't flower, it's great for sulking magnolias. So stay tuned for that. It might interest you. I've never used it before. I've never made it before. I've bought all the stuff. I've got it here ready to go. So we're going to, I'll hook in and do that. I'm going to also in the coming weeks take a look at the front lawn. I've noticed in years gone by I've actually oversown my cooch with rye. This is the first year that I haven't done it because of water restrictions, so I just don't feel it's appropriate to be watering seed and establishing a lawn when I've already got a lawn. Those times will return again once restrictions ease off, and we can do that. I can't wait to sort of share an oversow project with you guys, but anyway, at the moment we can't do that, or I choose not to do that. So we've got that coming up. We're going to look at the front lawn and treat it. It's a little bit of rye coming out from last year, so we're going to treat it with Monument. Now's a good time also if you've got wintergrass and cooch, Monument again. So yep, righto guys, look, hope you've enjoyed today's episode. It's a little bit different to doing the lawn stuff, but as I said, I want to just sort of keep a bit of a mix of the channel, and hopefully enjoying the episodes. Righto guys, we'll see you next week here on the Aussie Lawn.